Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of From Pieces to Peaceful. I'm your host, Blaze Bell, and this week we are talking to professional singer Alexandra Beck. She lives in LA, originally from Canada. You're going to love her upbeat and empowering music. And in this episode, we talk about confidence, we talk about the comparison that comes from working in such a competitive world. We also touch on healing from an eating disorder, and then we dive into her music and have a lot of fun. So please enjoy this episode. If you're looking for healing resources, check out blazebell.com. Hi, everybody. Today I'm so excited. I am chatting with Alexandra Beck, and you are based, where are you right now? You said you were just in San Diego.
Yeah, I was in San Diego with my mom for a week, but I'm back in LA now, back at
Nice.
it. So yeah,
Yeah,
LA.
okay. So Alexandra is an artist, musician, singer living the LA life. I'm so excited to hear about what it's like to be a working musician. I was a singer professionally for about 10 years, really up until COVID when all the gigs got canceled, and then I sort of switched gears. But I think music is so important and so beautiful and so healing. So I'm excited to hear about your story. So I'd love to kind of hear what your life is like today, where you are right now. I know you have a song coming out soon and have been working on music. So where are you now? And then we can kind of go back to what led you to this.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm here living in LA. I live in West Hollywood. Um, and yeah, music is kind of, I guess I start sort of at the beginning. Music and art has been a big part of my life. It's always been a part of my life since I was, a little kid. I was put in dance classes really young, and my parents exposed me to a lot of like different types of things growing up. So I think that was really great because my brother and I kind of had the opportunity to discover what we really enjoyed and what we were good at. So yeah, I was put in music lessons and dance lessons as a kid. And yeah, I just like loved being a part of musicals and choirs at school. Like I was known kind of as that kid in my school, especially in high school. Um, so I guess I started writing songs probably when I was in university, and then I that was kind of what led me to be like, I need to start pursuing being an artist as a career instead of, going down a more traditional path. I never really thought of art as a career in that way until I started writing songs, and I kind of had the self-realization I'm pretty good at this. I think that I should really put some time into this.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's so funny when we look at like celebrities and we're like, oh, they're so fancy and they're so amazing. And then like half of them are just like theater nerds in high school, you know?
Yeah, totally. Like, who is it? Taylor Swift? I think it's so funny. There was one quote of her saying that I was never popular. I was never the cool kid. I just worked really hard and I'm talented. I'm like, that's so relatable for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, did you ever think about, you said you enjoyed doing musicals, like the Broadway path, or did you have roles that you really enjoyed, or were you always kind of more a singer that liked to act sometimes?
I think I loved musicals more so in high school, but then when I started writing my own songs, I kind of like loved pop a lot more. But yeah, no, when I was in high school, I actually started in elementary for me. When I was in grade 5, I was in Greece, and I was one of the two youngest people who got to sing a solo, like a big solo in my class. So I was a guardian angel, and that was a big deal because that was the first musical I was in, and that was so fun. Like I
Oh, I
loved
bet.
being in Greece. And then in high school, actually, it wasn't a musical, but I was in Midsummer's Night's Dream, and I was Puck. And like the
Nice.
main, yeah, that was a really, really fun role. I guess that was more acting, but I got a lot of feedback, and I got a big school award, artist award for that year. Um, because I have a dance background. People were like, your physicality was so dancer-like, but it fit this fairy role so well. And so it was really interesting because Dance has come in and out of my life, but as I moved back to LA and kind of started doing dance for fun, I didn't know it would become such a big part of my artistry again. And I think that's the beautiful thing about being versatile as an artist. There's different types of art forms and they intertwine a lot, especially as, you do perform like musicals. It's everything. It's singing, dancing, and acting, which is so cool. And, I guess being a pop star is kind of the same thing in a different
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that's so fun. Well, and now that you say that, with what you're wearing and how your hair is like all I can see is Tinkerbell.
Like a fairy today. Oh my God, I was in chat that like came up so randomly too. I'm not trying to be Tinkerbell today.
Got the fairy vibe. And yeah, but I totally see that. And the dancing, I love dancing. I think like
It's the
I
best.
mean nothing feels better than dancing and even watching people dance is because it's like you can feel it's just your whole body gets to emote, which is very
Yeah.
exciting, I think.
Yeah, that's such a great way of explaining it. Yeah, your whole body gets to emote and feel in different ways. And yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I wish more adults would just dance for fun when
I agree.
alone at home. If you ask a room of kindergartners, like who all here can sing, everybody raises their hand. Who all here can dance? Everybody raise their hand. Ask adults, and they're like, no, 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 no. I
I'm
need liquid courage. I
scared.
need
Like,
this. It's like, no, just move your body.
it's so funny that you bring that up because it's not that what you're explaining is not about being a professional. It's about just, stress release. One of my close friends who's an actress and she's, getting lots of work and I think she just booked a Target ad. She's doing really well. But anyways, she was like, I want to take voice lessons just for fun. I don't want to be a professional singer at all, but got back to me a little while later and she's like, I am feeling so much happier these days because I'm singing for fun. And I
Mhm.
think that's also what dance has been for me. Because those are like our second art forms that we're not pursuing professionally per se. It might somehow get intertwined, but when you get to do an art form in a non-professional way like that, there's something so fun about it that sometimes when you're pursuing the art form that you're pursuing professionally, there's some moments where it's not as fun and the joy is taken away. But I mean, sometimes it feels like that, but not always.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm so
So.
curious, like, what is the experience with being in LA? I mean, when we think of LA, it's like the place to be where so many people are pursuing these dreams. And what is that like for like your confidence or self-doubt or how does that journey because any artist I know that is out there professionally auditioning all the time they're getting a lot of rejections like that's just a part of the game and it's about the people who can figure out how to persevere through that still love themselves still know that they're awesome and keep going like what's that journey been like I'm super curious.
That's really great, big. I mean, that's really cool that you brought that up because I feel like I just kind of had many realizations about that this year, and I feel in the best place I have ever felt. But yeah, when I first got to this city, I was incredibly daunted and I didn't really like it. I was like, everyone here is so talented and I'm so talented too. Like, why can stuff just happen right now? Like, really, my worst trait is I'm very impatient. But um, I think I finally had a realization, a mindset shift where being in the city is such a blessing because there is so much talent and there's so much because people from all over the world who are the most talented people in their hometown move here to make it. So that just breeds so much talent in all the art forms. But I think it's a matter of you're learning so much from your colleagues and going to shows and you're just being in the dance centers here, going out to see singers here. Like everyone is the top shelf. And there are a lot of bad people too, but I think you really get a broad spectrum of talent here and different types. And you get to really learn about yourself and what your strengths are. And what one of my mentors, Kiafa, says is what makes you you. It's not about being the best, but necessarily at certain skills, but it's like what makes you you, what makes you stand out. And I think since I started tapping into that more, I've been way happier and not concerned with chasing opportunities that aren't meant for me. I more so now than ever feel like if the right opportunities are coming to me, as I'm working hard, but it's not like I used to chase opportunities and be so desperate, but I know I'm talented and if someone doesn't see that, that's their loss. It's not my loss, I think. That's
Yeah.
my new motto on it. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would feel like too, every no makes room for a yes. Like every door that
Yeah.
closes, like, oh, good, because that means around the corner there's something way better for me. That's what I would be thinking all the time.
Thank you. Yeah, because like you have to be like that too. Exactly. Because otherwise
Yeah.
then you get sad and down on yourself.
Right. And there is so much opportunity. So, I'm sure there's got to be a lot out there. And I would think too that, like you said, being constantly inspired by other creatives and also probably like upping your game a little bit. Like maybe not you, but in
Absolutely.
general, like,
Absolutely.
oh, yeah, let me work a little harder than I did in my
Yeah.
country town. Where were you from?
It's a fire under your ass, definitely. I'm from a place called Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's like it's like the Midwest of Canada, basically.
Okay.
And then I lived in Vancouver for college, so that's where I lived for like 7 or 8 years before I moved to LA. And yeah, so I've lived in very different, all three cities are just like very, very, very different from each other, but it's good. Like
Wow.
the
Well, that's
people move differently in each city, and I think I've learned so much from each place about myself and who I am. So,
I'm sure. And that's brave to just up and go. And well, you said your mom is not too far away, so that probably helps. But it just takes a lot of courage to go, okay, off I go on my big adventure and let's see what
thank you.
happens.
That's sweet of you to say. You're
Yeah.
based in, so are you from Alaska? You've always been there?
I am born and raised, so I just travel as much as I can. I just got distracted because just out of nowhere it started snowing really hard here, which I thought we were done with that. Guess not. That's okay.
But I feel like the good thing about being from a cold climate, because I've lived in colder climates, I feel like I'm way more productive when I lived in colder climates than I am when I'm in the warmer climate. Like you're getting way more stuff done than the average person who lives here. They're like, I want to go to the beach. It's nice today. Or like, I'm getting FOMO because everyone's at a rooftop bar because it's nice out. I feel like
True.
yeah, you're getting more
No.
stuff done.
I think I'd like to test the theory. Let me go to the beach and see what I can get done. Yeah. Well, okay. So I was just listening to your song Hit This, and I just love like how fun and upbeat and also empowering. I mean, I'm really digging the music. So I'd like to hear too, like the inspiration for the songs you're writing and kind of the overarching theme and maybe what has happened in your life that made you want to sing this type of like empowering, fun music.
Yeah, so I feel like I write most of my songs about relationships and like this is like a sexual interest, this song. A guy he used to be one of my coworkers.
Oh
And then I
my.
ran into him at like the first night out after COVID in Vancouver. My friend Laura and I were out, and I was like, oh, he's there. So yeah, that's what this song in particular is about. But I think that I kind of have a background, like I studied justice in school, so I'm kind of like I'm a feminist. I'm big on empowerment. Um, I think that my music is hopeful, a lot of it. And maybe not this song. This song's more sexy and sultry and vibey, but I think a lot of my music is like just singing one of my ballads that I'm going to be recording next week, and it's like about an end of a relationship, but I think I got I have a new life, a new opportunity, and so do you. And like, I'm sad that we ended, but yeah, so I think my music is, I don't know. Music makes me feel happy. Like Calvin Harris era was when I was clubbing the most, and that music just made people dance and it made people feel good. And that's another thing that I think is I really want my music to do for people. I want it to make people feel happy and be able to party to, but also certain ballads and different things make them feel seen, I guess. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. No, I actually really appreciate that because for me, music is like, how does it make you feel?
Mhm.
And I love music that makes me just want to dance. And, sometimes
Same.
I'll dip into like the deep feeling moments and just have like a dramatic session with
Those
myself.
are the two types of music I love the most too, what you just described. Those are my two favorite types of music. So I do Britney vibes, I do belty vibes, I have super processed vocals like Charlie XCX in my new EDM song. Like I have different vibes and I feel versatile and we'll just see, I think we'll see what, makes me successful. I'm trying out different vibes right now with my music, which feels
Yeah.
good. That's the beauty of not being signed, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's really fun.
It,
So a lot of my listeners are people who are on a healing journey. They have, or I mean, we never stop being on a healing journey. Hopefully, we just keep evolving, and it's like higher and higher levels of healing. Um, but I'd love to hear, like, if there are maybe advice you give or things that you feel like you've overcome or in the process of overcoming. Because I feel like a lot of what you're doing takes a high level of courage and strength and yeah, like a high self-esteem, just to be able to keep standing up and putting yourself in all kinds of wild situations and knowing that you can get through it. So I would just love to hear like a little bit more from maybe even girls or women who are thinking about doing something courageous, but they're nervous or they're not used to, they're like the second-hand person all the time, where you're giving main character energy, and that's what we all need to do.
we
But
all need
how do we step
it.
up? Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. That's such a nice compliment. I've worked, I haven't always been this confident, and I've done a lot of self work. So that's really a really kind thing to say. Thank you that you see me like that too. Um, I think that I stopped trying to please other people. I know that I'm a kind person. I know I'm a good person, and pleasing other people is a detriment of your self-esteem. The biggest thing I think that when I was the most unhappy in my life, like I used to have a pretty bad eating disorder when I was in high school, and looking back on my life, I was so unhappy, and I was felt totally out of control, and that was like a way of getting control. And I think being around people who celebrate you for how you the way that you are is really important, and positive messaging, not being around negative people has a profound impact on my mental health and my mental well-being. Like my dance center that I go to right now, it's our teacher, Marissa, who choreographed my music video. You just want to be around her. She's such a loving healer energy, like you just described. She's very warm. Her class, she says at the beginning, our class is about being the best version of yourself. It's not about comparing yourself to the last version of last week or last class. And it's not about comparing yourself to the person next to you. It's about your own journey and how this is going to make you feel better and yourself. So she's been a huge mindset mentor for me, and she knows that because I've told her that a lot. But I don't think she's aware of how many people's lives she's really shaped in that way. And I think it's really important when you meet people like that. Like there's another music mentor of mine. He passed away in October, but he had a profound impact on his community just because he really cared about people. He had so much knowledge. He was so articulate and he was so genuine just in the way that he was. And I think having mentors around who are loving and caring, and you can just feel that they're positive and they believe you can achieve the best version of yourself is so important. And I think how I've overcome a lot. I went to therapy for a whole year when I went through some really bad relationship stuff and I was dealing with some issues with my family. And but now more than ever, I'm just really grateful. I used to not have a very good relationship with my family, but I think that I'm really now I look at it and I'm like I'm really grateful instead of looking at the bad parts of my parents or my family. I look at the good things now. I look at like what I have in my life. Practicing gratitude has been a huge thing for me, I think. It's
Yeah.
such a huge thing for me. Yeah.
I totally agree. And wow, you just rattled off so many great things. I love that. No, no, that was amazing. That means all of those things are like the top of your mind all the time. Like you know what you need to do to get through some of that. And I agree with gratitude. And when I talk about it, I feel cheesy. But at the same time, like it's just true. The more we can
It's
practice
so
that,
true.
like
Yeah.
strengthen it. Yeah, I read once that gratitude is the opposite of self-pity. And I'd never heard it that way. And for me, that really helped because I start to really spiral if I start to feel sorry for myself. Like there's no good place I'm gonna go if I start to go like, oh, poor me, and that's their fault, and So I actually have gratitude like tattooed on my wrist.
Oh, I need to do that. I
I
want
just
to have a matching tattoo with you, Belle. That's
I just kept writing it like on my hands and on sticky notes. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be permanent. It's fine.
it's kind of selfish too if you think about self-pity. I never really thought about like looking back. I'm like when I was so self-pity like I was so it's so selfish. It brings down the people, the vibes of the people around you. And
Totally.
yeah,
No, absolutely. And I also am so with you with people pleasing. Like, oh, I used to be a massive people pleaser and it made me so unhappy. And so, yeah, I have such a long list now of nice ways to say no. I'm big on saying no to a lot.
yes, me too.
Yeah,
I need
important.
your list.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and I appreciate you mentioning the eating disorder. And I also had an eating disorder, and it started a little in high school. I also did quite a bit of dance, which again I love. But it was just a little bit of a different culture, and I started feeling insecure about my size, which was I wasn't big, but it was just the culture.
Same, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then I went through a traumatic experience like right out of high school, and then the eating disorder just really like took over and became a big part of my life for quite a while. So I'm curious too, like how did you work through that or come out of that. Because when I think about addiction and like recovery from alcohol or drugs, like those are things we never have to do again in our lives if we don't want to. Whereas we have to eat. You know what I mean? So I found it to be a lot trickier to have a less dysfunctional relationship with food, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for me, part of it was like having enough energy to do tasks. It's like when we're starving, I'm sure you could probably really relate to that. It's like when you're starving yourself, you don't have enough energy for your brain to work properly. And I think that finally kind of clued into that. My family tried to, help me a little bit and put me in counseling at the time, which I'm really grateful for. Um, but I think it was like a slow shift over time. It didn't happen overnight. And I think when I thought I was healed from my eating disorder, I wasn't even. And I think as when you have an ED, you tell people you don't, when you
Sure.
do. Like that's like another coping mechanism because you're a perfectionist and you can't be seen a certain way. But yeah, I think that like a part of it was just being in school and being like, I don't have enough energy for stuff and my brain isn't working properly. And then I don't know. I guess the in style bodies have shifted a bit, which is I hate to say like being skinny is not the in style. And everyone's beautiful whatever size they are, but I think that kind of that that shift honestly helped me a little bit because it's like I know that's might not be the greatest thing to say, but I also I don't know. Those are the biggest things, and realizing I'm actually really skinny naturally. I'm just naturally muscular, and I didn't like that for some weird reason. But it
Oh.
allowed me to be good at dance and all these sports. So I don't know why I hated that so much about myself. It's the way that like my body's made and supposed to be. It's beautiful. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're saying, just about like what's in style. And, you know, society really puts a lot of pressure on women to look a certain way, or more so did before. You're right. And I'm even thinking of when I was younger and magazines were the big thing. And so all we ha kind of like went on is who's on the cover of magazines. And it was super skinny, like white women typically, and now to have, for all the like negative parts of social media, there is a beautiful part of all kinds of women all over the world getting to share their beauty and lift each other up and
yeah.
understand that there's not just one type of beauty. There's so many, and we can embrace that and we can celebrate it. And being healthy also looks different for different bodies. And yeah, so
You can't change your body shape too. I think my mom said that to me at one point. She's like, whatever you do, you're never going to be able to change the shape of your legs. That's the way, even if they're like smaller, it's going to be the same. Like you have to embrace what you have. You can't change it.
yeah, yeah, for
So,
sure.
anyways.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you talking about that. I know it's not always easy, but I do also think that a lot of people deal with that at some point in their life, and it's important to just like all these things that we do for control, or when we're in pain, and we really do it alone. And like you were saying, like thinking nobody knows. I feel like everybody knows a lot of times, but we are too afraid to give voice to it. And the more these things are kept silent, I think the harder it is for other people to feel like they can talk to a friend or stop doing it or just feel accepted for what they're going through, because we all go through
Absolutely.
stuff.
Thanks for sharing your story too. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, why not? We're all humans. Life is super weird. Like we need
Yeah, no, it really is.
each other. Yeah. Cool. Well, I so appreciate you chatting with me, and it's like so fun to
Yeah.
meet you. So just tell me before we go, like, where can we find your music? What's coming up next? How can we become your super fans?
Yay. So thank you so much for everything today. I had a blast, Blaze. Um, you're really fun to talk to. Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm Alexandra Beck on all my platforms and actually have my song Hit This dropping next Friday, April 18th. So I'm so excited. And the music video for the single is dropping on the 30th. So it's the first music video I've ever done with my dance team. Two of my close friends were my backup dancers. So I'm so excited about that. It's going to be coming out on the 30th. So you can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever your listening platform is, as Alexandra Beck. On Instagram is where I'm most active about like updates with my career. So Alexandra Maria Beck is my handle. Um, and yeah, if you search Alexandra Beck Music, you'll find me on Instagram. So yeah.
Well, and I'll share all the links. They'll be there. But yeah, and I love that you have some friends in your music video. That must have been a blast to do.
It was really fun because I felt like the whole team, like Marissa choreographed it. I dance at her classes every week. Her boyfriend was a videographer and he films our class every week. So I know him well and he films dancers all the time. And they're an amazing team. The two, Marissa and Brian, they're an incredible working team together. So they're just, their whole concept of the video was very strategic, and you could tell that they're really great artists together. And then, yeah, my friends. So it felt like, yeah, I really knew the people who were a part of my project, and that made it even better.
Yeah, amazing. All right. Well, we will be looking for that, and I will keep sharing all the great things you're doing. So, Alexandra Beck Music, I can't wait to hear more. Thank you.
Thanks, Blaze.